AIDA for finding out my roommate's shocking secret the hard way? I, 24 male, have lived with my roommate Carl, 24 male, for 2 years. A few months into rooming with him, he told me he was pansexual. I said, okay, cool. I am not interested in that personal information, nor am I judgmental. A few times over the last year, he has asked me if I had ever considered experimenting with other men. I said nope. Also, I said I didn't feel comfortable with him asking me such a personal question. It's not like we are close friends. We are only roommates by happenstance, basically. Anyway, every time I said this, he basically said, "We'll see." And I was like, what? Last night I had a horrifying experience. I heard a noise under my bed. It was movement. At first I thought I was imagining things, but then I heard it again. I thought, oh God, is it a mouse or a rat or some... My God. This was like 3 a.m. So I got out of bed and looked under with my phone flashlight. Now, these here was the most startling moment of my life. I guess I am lucky because I have never felt true terror and fear as a physical sensation before this moment. I was completely jolted. There under my bed was my roommate staring wide-eyed at me. He screeched when I looked under the bed. I literally thought I was having a heart attack. I then just started hearing, sorry, 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 sorry. My roommate crawled out from under the bed crying, apologizing over and over. I was so creeped out and afraid that I ran out of the apartment in my pajamas. There was a Dunkin' Donuts that was open 24/7 a few blocks away, so I just sat in there with a decaf and a breakfast sandwich with my heart thundering away. My roommate kept texting me asking to talk. I ignored it. In the text, he found a way to horrify me even further. He confessed he had been sleeping under my bed a few nights a week for 3 or 4 months, and that he was doing it to get closer to me and psychically saturate each other. I waited for him to go to work and I ran into the apartment, got my essentials, and left. I am currently crashing with a buddy. Our lease is up in 1 month. My intention is simply to not renew. This dude is blowing up my phone, and I am getting texts from other people, some friends of mine, and some bozos who are friends with him. He is going around telling people I shamed him and that I am rejecting his apologies. Some people are claiming I am overreacting and invalidating his feelings. Most people agree he was improper, but think I should work it out with him and give a second chance because he's sensitive. I feel like I'm losing my mind and I am seriously 20% convinced I am experiencing a long lucid dream of some sort and wondering if I'm going to wake up or I'm in a coma because this is so insane to me. Like, not really, but maybe really, what the... So, AITA?
AITA for locking my door to keep my stepbrother out? I know what this sounds like, but there's no better way to put it. I, 19 female, have known my stepbrother, 27 male, for about 15 years, but I've never liked him. Honestly, he's never given me a reason to. We both live at home, I'm finishing college, I live in the UK, so this is before university, and he's in school. For more context, he's not working, and as far as I know, he's never had a job. My parents fully support him. He makes me uncomfortable. I've tried to have a sibling-like relationship with him and be polite, but he doesn't give me much reason to. For example, he was the first person to make me feel insecure about myself. As I got older, he started making comments about my body, like it's because your boobs are big, you're pea-shaped, or your ass is shaping up. I don't care if he thinks it's a compliment or just a joke. I don't like it when people comment on my body. It makes me feel icky, like people are paying more attention to me than I'd like. Maybe he thinks it's okay because we're siblings, but to me, it's just not normal. It's weird because my best friend, who's known him for a long time, doesn't seem to mind similar comments from him, so maybe he thinks we're the same. But what really makes me uncomfortable is that he often comes into my room unannounced, sometimes just standing by the door and staring as a joke, which creeps me out. When I get noticeably upset, he'll say something like, "Geez," as if I should just go along with it. If I ask him to knock or say I want privacy, he questions me and makes insinuations like, "Why? Are you watching porn or something?" Even if I were, why would it matter? I'm 19. Recently, I installed a lock on my door. I'd lost my old key, so I've been without a lock for a while, but his behavior finally pushed me to get one. Now, he has to knock before coming in. He keeps saying it's weird that I'd lock myself in my room during the day, but I only use it when I want privacy, mostly on weekends. Personally, I think it's a lot weirder that a man 10 years older than me has a problem with me wanting alone time. Most of the time, I'm literally just sitting in my room reading. I don't know if I'm overreacting. I don't think I am, but no one else seems to think this is weird. I don't want to insinuate that he's a pervert or whatever, but if the shoe fits. AITA?
It started as a game. But we should have never played. A few years back in college, I had 3 neighbors around my age. Over time, we became good friends. One day, the sister of one of my neighbors decided to mess around with a Ouija board with some of her friends. During their session, they claimed they summoned a child spirit, a boy they called Andres. Andres told them a bit about his story, and when they asked why he was still around, he replied that he'd been on his way to the afterlife. But, as he put it, since they'd called him back, he thought it would be more fun to stay with them. At first, no one outside of those 3 seemed to witness or hear anything unusual, so, naturally, most of us didn't take them very seriously. But whenever we visited their apartment, my friends would always perform this little ritual where they'd politely ask Andres not to scare their guests, promising they'd play with him once the visitors left. They did this every time we showed up. One afternoon, we were all sitting in their living room, just chatting around 4 or 5 p.m., when suddenly, a ball rolled out from the hallway, and stopped near the feet of one of my friends. I saw it, but I played it cool, pretending it hadn't happened or that maybe a draft had pushed it. My friend picked up the ball, smiled, and gently rolled it back down the hallway. Not even 20 minutes later, the ball rolled back toward him, just as slowly and deliberately as before. I had been watching the end of the hallway, waiting to see if it would happen again, and sure enough, it had. I asked my friend not to throw the ball back again. Then, one Sunday evening around 9 or 10 p.m., I started hearing glass shattering from my friend's apartment, like someone was smashing plates, glasses, anything they could find in the kitchen. It was so loud that even the building security guards came up, thinking it might be some kind of fight, and the neighbors came out of their apartments to check. I called my friends to see if they were okay, and they told me they'd actually gone on a weekend trip to a farmhouse and were just getting back. When they arrived, the guards and neighbors filled them in on the noise, and they rushed to open the apartment door. But when they stepped inside, everything was perfectly in place. There wasn't a single broken glass or dish, except for one thing, a couch that had been moved to the middle of the room. For a while, they tried everything they could think of to release Andres. But in the end, they had to move out of the apartment. After they left, none of us ever heard from the playful little spirit again.